Welcome to Whores Talk Horror.
We're not really whores. We just like wordplay.
Hello, I'm Sharon.
I'm Melinda.
And this is Whores Talk Horror.
Welcome.
And today is part 2 of our 2-part episode of 2020 horror movies. Last week we went through a bunch. If you didn't listen, go download now and check it out. Today we are going to continue with the rest of the movies. And as we said, this is not an all-inclusive list of movies that are coming out in 2020. It's just all the shit we could find so far.
Right.
All right. So Mindy, let's get us started. What do you got?
Okay, I have a movie called Malignant. The release date is August 14th, 2020. It's a James Wan joint, as in James Wan directed and co-wrote this movie. It's based on his comic book by the same name, which seriously, he writes comics too. Like, I had no idea.
He doesn't sleep.
He doesn't. I'm convinced that he just takes a lot of Ritalin and like stays up all night long. He has to. Details are really tight on this in terms of synopsis, and I've not read or heard of this comic until now, but it's scheduled for release, like I said, August 2020, and it's not part of the Conjuring universe, thankfully. It sounds like it's slightly more sci-fi or possibly superhero-ish. We shall see, but yeah, something different from James Wan. That'll be interesting.
All right. Any buzz about if it's supposed to be good or...
I had a hard time finding anything about what the comic's about, even.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So he's keeping it super top secret.
Yeah. Probably because all he does is Conjuring movies. So, like, this is non-Conjuring. So they're like, we don't want to talk about it.
All right. So I have Antlers, which is expected to be in theaters on April 17th. It's produced by Guillermo del Toro, directed by Scott Cooper. The plot is a bit of a mystery. Not much is really being said about it. The only thing I know is that a small town Oregon teacher and her brother, who is the local sheriff, become entwined with a young student harboring a dangerous secret with frightening consequences. Ooh. It stars Kerry Russell and Jesse Plemons, who's from Breaking Bad and Fargo season 2 and The Irishman. Isn't he married to
Kirsten Dunst?
Kirsten Dunst, and don't they have like a kid now?
I think so. And Kerry Russell rules.
Yeah. So it's got a good cast, and it's based on a short story called The Quiet Boy, written by Nick Antosca. And you can read his short story for free on the website Guernica. I actually did go to the website and read it. It was good. So I'm kind of excited to see how they adapt the film from the story. And we'll post a link on our, I was going to say social media pages, but we'll post it on our podcasting sites.
She's looking at me for the right words. I just say episode description.
We'll put it in the episode description.
There you go.
Of this episode. So you can go there and download the story if you want to read it for yourself.
I have a little more information on Malignant, the comic book.
Oh.
It's actually called Malignant Man.
Hey.
So Alan Gates, a cancer patient with a terminal diagnosis, is resigned to his fate until he discovers that his tumor is actually a mysterious parasite. And there's more, but that's all I'm going to read.
Oh, that's kind of interesting.
Yeah, it is. But I think now that you read that, I feel like I might have actually found that or read something to that effect and been like, just blocked it out of my brain because that idea is gross and terrifying.
It seems like a weird idea. It's also co-written by Michael Allen Nelson along with James Wan.
Oh.
Well, in the movie, he's going to move into a old farmhouse.
In the middle of nowhere with some cranky old neighbor. Yeah, totally.
And there's going to be some ghost and a nun haunting him.
And then randomly, the Warrens will show up. So
with a creepy doll.
You're welcome, James Wan. We just wrote your movie for you.
That's a wrap.
All right.
Should we move on?
Yes, let's please.
All right. My next movie is A Quiet Place Part 2. The release date is...
A Quieter Place.
This place is quieter.
I was kind of wondering, like, that would have been a great title.
You know SNL is going to do some spoof like that.
Possibly if John Krasinski hosts.
Right.
Oh, my gosh. Release date, March 20th, 2020. Once again directed and co-written by John Krasinski, Part 2 picks right back up with the Abbott family immediately following the events of the first film. Forced to venture from their home into terrors unknown in the outside world, the family soon learns that the sound creatures are not the only threats lurking behind the sand path. Emily Blunt and Cillian Murphy, drool, stars in this sequel. How do you say the co-star's name, Sharon?
Jaman Hansu.
Thank you. He's also a co-star. Great actor. I'm just not very good at pronouncing things. I'll definitely be seeing this movie at some point. To be safe, I'll probably wait for video and watch this at home, since I just watched the first movie this past week for the first time ever and have basically had a panic attack starting with the opening scene, because it's so I thought it was so intense. Cillian Murphy is an excellent incentive to see anything, though, so I'll be excited to see what he brings to part 2. Right, but this is clearly Emily Blunt's show, and I'm looking forward to her badassery. I just wanted to make a quick side note. I'd like to take a second to just recognize that John Krasinski is kind of amazing. I get it if The Office isn't your thing, but he's such a better actor than just Jim Halpert, and he was great as Jim Halpert. And actually, both he and Martin Freeman, who played Tim Canterbury, Jim's British predecessor on The British Office, both nailed their respective office personas and are also both fantastic actors with incredible range. But that was a little diversion. Anyway, Krasinski's performance in A Quiet Place fucking destroyed me. As a director, the film's execution I thought was impeccable. Unfortunately, this is one movie that I actually did see the trailer for, so much of the plot points were kind of predictable, but I was still a nervous wreck and a sobbing mess, or both, the entire freaking movie. And then there's that ending that happens. So yeah, I'll be back for part 2, just not sure how emotionally sound I'll be once the credit starts rolling. So bring it, Krasinski.
Nice. Well, I'm glad you liked A Quiet Place. I'm glad you finally watched A Quiet Place.
I cried.
I know. I cried at the ending.
And I did not... it was more than I thought it was going to be as a movie, too, in many ways. And I don't want to say too much about that for anybody who has still not seen it. But yeah, I was pleasantly surprised and terrified and depressed at the same time, all in a good way. In
the new movie, I heard that Emily Blunt gives birth to twins.
You're making that up.
Totally making that up. But yeah, I'm excited to see what they're going to do. And do we need to say Cillian Murphy again? Because
I know, that's what I said. I was like, that's an incentive right there. So
sold.
Yeah.
All right. So next on my list, something that I'm really excited for, Antebellum, expected to be released on April 24th. The cast is great. It has Janelle Monáe, Jenna Malone, Gabourey Sidibe. It's about a successful author. I don't know why I say successful so slow. I'm going to say that over again. I felt like I had a hard time like trying to get it out. It's about a successful author, Verotika Henley, played by Janelle Monáe.
Hell yeah.
She finds herself trapped in a horrifying reality and must uncover the mind-bending mystery before it's too late. From one of the producers of Get Out and Us, the title Antebellum can describe the time just before any war, but is usually used in reference to the American Civil War. So I'm guessing the movie will have like kind of a similar vein to Get Out and Us, and will be a horror movie that has a social commentary. So I'm excited just to see Janelle Monáe, because she's a great singer and actress, and
dude, she is the archandroid. I mean, like, I know that's her, like, her what do you call it, like her theme for her albums, but I don't think she's human. She's way too talented. She's like I'm blanking.
Oh, she's like Lupita Nyong'o?
Yes, thank you. Yes. She's like her. She's either a Cylon, which I would just go with the archandroid, which is her character from her albums, but like I just think they're not human. They're way too talented. It's amazing.
Yeah.
I love them both. But yes, I agree. I can't wait to see her. And everyone else in that movie, because that's a badass cast.
Mm-hmm. All right, Mindy.
All right, we're going The Wrong Turn, The Foundation.
Yay.
I think I've only seen like one Wrong Turn movie, I think.
Ditto. I only saw the first one.
But this is currently in post-production. Release date is TBA right now. But supposedly this is coming out this year, 2020. Screenplay by Alan B. McElroy, the writer of the original Wrong Turn and the franchise creator. Stars Matthew Modine, randomly, but I still kind of harbor a little crush for Matthew Modine. I'm sorry, I kind of do.
And also he was in Stranger Things, so he's kind of made a comeback, I think.
Oh, yeah, but I've just always kind of had a little crush on him. I can't help it.
For sure. He was like an 80s movie icon. Like man crush, boy crush, girl crush. Wait.
But kind of like on the DL, because he wasn't like
he was more the
super
nerdy.
popular, but like, yeah, my mom liked him.
He wasn't like,
and then I was like, oh, he's kind of cute.
There was like, you know, Rob Lowe, who was more like the sexy, like heartthrob, and then there was Matthew Modine, who was more like the like, gentle soul,
like nerdier. Yeah, yeah.
Spencer just laughing at us.
He hates us both right now.
Was Matthew Modine the gentle lover, and Rob Lowe? I'm getting into a vortex.
Do you want to have that conversation?
No, I really don't.
Back to wrong turn. We took a wrong turn there. What?
We did.
Oh.
Sorry.
Let's get back to the foundation.
Nicely done, Spencer. So this new Wrong Turn movie is going to be about friends hiking the Appalachian Trail. And they're confronted by the Foundation, a community of people who have lived in the mountains for hundreds of years, because of course. It's been reported that this film will be a reboot and will not follow the same cannibals that have been featured before. I'm sorry, this just makes me laugh because this just sounds funny. This will be the 7th movie in the Wrong Turn franchise.
Wow.
Which explores various family members of a mountain-dwelling cannibal tribe in the West Virginia wilderness and Appalachian mountain regions. The deformed killers specialize in various types of hunting, traps, and weaponry to ensnare their prey. Though there have been many villains featured in the various Wrong Turn movies, one particular cannibal, ready for it, known as Three Finger, has appeared in all 6 films.
I think I need to see these.
2 in the pink, 1 in the stink. That's why they call him Three Finger.
So look forward to that in 2020.
Is Matthew Modine going to be Three Finger?
I don't think so.
I actually, now that you read the description of the movies, I kind of want to watch all these. Maybe we should do a Wrong Turn marathon. I'm not even joking.
I'm into it.
I'm down.
It's snowy and awful in Chicago right now. It's actually not a bad time for a movie marathon.
I mean, there's a lot of people who enjoy this franchise. There must be a reason. So we shouldn't be too quick to judge.
I am too quick to judge. I'm kidding. Whatever floats your boat.
Speaking of franchises. Hey. The movie I'm going to be talking about next, which I will definitely be seeing in the theater, take my money, please. The Conjuring 3.
Patrick Wilson.
The devil made me do it.
Oh.
That's what it's called. That's the full title. Conjuring 3, The Devil Made Me Do It.
Yeah, okay.
In theaters right after our birthday, Spencer, September 11th. And Vera Farmiga and Patrick Wilson are back to reprise their roles as Ed and Lorraine Warren. James Wan will not be directing this as he did the first 2 Conjuring movies, but he does serve as a producer and story co-developer. I mean, in his short 42 years on Earth, he's only been able to direct around 17 movies, write or co-write around 18 movies, and produce approximately 30 films. So clearly he's struggling financially and needs to take any film role he can. And so, yeah.
He sounds like a slacker to me. I don't know, man. As a producer, though, he's kind of like just sitting back and like, there's work to being a producer, but he's kind of just money's rolling in, baby.
I don't know, man. Producers, they're pretty much responsible for everything. So that's not an easy job at all.
I know it's not, but
very time consuming.
He doesn't have to be on set every day necessarily,
but he probably is because
he's James Wan
and he doesn't sleep.
Oh, right. We've already established that he doesn't sleep. I forgot.
But yeah, even though he's not directing, his influence will most likely be seen and felt throughout the film. Michael Chavez, who previously directed The Curse of La Llorona, which neither of us enjoyed. He's the one who's directing Conjuring 3. So since La Llorona was one of my least favorite horror movies of last year, let's hope this one is much better. Because the first two Conjuring movies, let's face it, I really love those movies. I don't know how you feel about them, but I'm a huge fan. So
Patrick Wilson.
I mean,
That's going to be my answer every time.
So this story will follow the case where a murder suspect claims he was possessed during his alleged crimes. So this actually sounds very interesting, and kind of a departure from the first two movies where, you know, demon possession tears apart a family. A bit of IMDb trivia. The movie is allegedly about the story of Arnie Cheyenne Johnson, who killed his landlord in 1981. The story was described in the 1983 book The Devil in Connecticut, and also was an episode from the TV series Haunting from 2006 called Where Demons Dwell, which I'm sure I've probably seen that episode because I used to watch that show religiously.
I still watch reruns. I'm not even joking.
Yeah.
And then yell at the people and they do stupid things and the reenactment actors. So,
but in an interview, Michael Chavez said that he cannot confirm the plot of the film. And when asked about the rumors of the possible adaptation of the Arnie Cheyenne Johnson case, he just said that The Conjuring 3 would be, quote, bigger than that. So we'll see. But it sounds like it's kind of going in a different direction, which I'm glad, because like how many demon family possession movies can they keep doing? So
well, and yeah, and I mean, I find the first two to be enjoyable. The second one, I'd say maybe more so than the first one, but at the same time, like I've read the book on like the actual Edenfield case and
Enfield,
sorry, I always say Edenfield.
Are you sure you read the book?
No, I did. But like, everybody messes with history. It's film, it's fiction. It's just weird. But I like to just look at those two actors as being like my fantasy, Ed and Lorraine Warren, and that's like how I'm going to picture them fictionally and just go in and enjoy it.
Yeah, because they're much more attractive than the real life couple. Not that that makes any difference, but they took some liberties with the casting.
That's what thank you. That's what I was going for. Is there's a few liberties that have been taken in general with the Conjuring movies, but I just choose to be like, I understand that. I'm going in for the fun. So it sounds fun.
The guy's name, it might be Arn Cheyenne, not Arnie Cheyenne, just based on the spelling you've got here.
You can spell Arnie Arne.
I've never heard that pronounced that way.
Whatever. Have you ever even met anyone named Arnie? No.
Spencer's thinking about it.
That's what I'm saying. It's probably Arn.
Have you ever met anyone named Arn either?
Yeah.
Shut the fuck up.
I met 8 people named Arn.
Exactly.
Just yesterday, as a matter of fact. All right, Mindy.
I was at the Arn convention.
What was in everybody's coffee?
And all 8 Arns of the world showed up.
Right.
All right.
Okay. This one. All right. We're going to talk about it.
Well, yeah. It's on your list.
I know.
We're not going to skip over it.
I know. I'm not. I don't know how excited I am about this, but whatever. So this next movie we're going to talk about is Army of the Dead, directed by Zack Snyder. Den of Geek says no release date set except for coming 2020. Currently, it's in post-production. From IMDb, the synopsis that they gave says, following a zombie outbreak in Las Vegas, a group of mercenaries take the ultimate gamble, venturing into the quarantine zone to pull off the greatest heist ever attempted. Again, directed by Snyder, who also directed the Dawn of the Dead remake from 2004. Not much is known other than this description from IMDb, but the cast includes folks like David Bautista, Chris D'Elia.
D'Elia.
Thank you.
He's a comedian.
And he's also in the new season of You, which, have you watched You?
I haven't, but a friend of mine just texted me earlier this week and was like, have you watched this? You should watch this. And I said, Sharon likes it. And he said, yes, she would.
It's really good. I mean, quick little side note here.
Sure, yeah.
If you have not watched You, check it out, because if you were a fan of Dexter, I would say check it out. It's very similar. It's about a serial killer who's also a hopeless romantic and a stalker, and yeah, well, he's definitely a psychopath. But season 2 is even more Dexter-esque, and after Dexter ended, and God, it ended so horribly, it kind of left like a big hole in my heart because I loved that show so much. And then when I discovered this show, I was like, oh. So
I know there's a lot of controversy about you. Not you specifically as a person, but about the show.
I mean, both. There's a little controversy about me,
but
too.
That's another story for another day.
Yeah, we'll talk about that later. But I just wanted to say...
Well, speaking of Netflix, though, looks like it's going to be a Netflix movie, like straight to Netflix film.
Perfect.
So you could watch this and you, I guess, in the same day, probably. Binge.
There you go.
Love or hate Snyder, you got to admit that Dawn of the Dead from 2004 was pretty solid, I thought. This will be his first film after taking a break to focus on his family after his daughter's death, which I didn't know, and to collaborate with suicide prevention and awareness causes. So good on you, Snyder. He told The Hollywood Reporter, "There are no handcuffs on me at all with this one. I thought this was a good palate cleanser to really dig in with both hands and make something fun and epic and crazy and bonkers in the best way possible. I love to honor canon and the works of art, but this is the opportunity to find a purely joyful way to express myself through a genre. It will be the most kick-ass, self-aware, but not in a wink to the camera way, balls to the wall zombie freak show that anyone has ever seen. No one's ever let me completely lose like this."
Loose. Completely loose.
Yeah, loose. That doesn't really...
Changes the meaning completely.
Totally changes the meaning of what he just said.
Words are hard, and I'm having a hard time with words today.
Math, too.
I know, math, too. But, yeah, I'm not the biggest Zack Snyder fan, but, I mean...
What is the release date?
They're really, it just says coming 2020. It's in post right now, but this does, I mean.
That actually sounds really awesome.
I know I'll end up watching it someday. I'll be home. It'll randomly come up in the "you should watch this" thing on Netflix. And then I'll be like, holy shit, why haven't I watched this before?
Well, I have a new fascination with all these unique zombie movies coming out, like One Cut of the Dead, which you still need to watch.
Yes, it's in my queue on Shudder.
And also Little Monsters.
Oh.
So I'm really enjoying these new twists on zombie movies. So
yeah.
We needed it.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, yes.
So this sounds like it's kind of in that same direction. So I'm excited for this. I'll watch it. And it's on Netflix, so I don't have to fucking pay or leave the house.
And I also like the phrase balls to the wall zombie freak show.
Yes, his description sounds pretty amazing.
Mm-hmm. All right.
All right, Sharon, what you got for us next?
So next I have Last Night in Soho, September 25th. It's supposed to be in theaters, directed by Edgar Wright, the director of Shaun of the Dead and The World's End and Hot Fuzz. So
and Spaced.
If you're a fan of those movies, then I'm sure this movie is going to be great because I love all those movies. It's about a young girl passionate in fashion design. She's mysteriously able to enter the 1960s where she encounters her idol, a dazzling wannabe singer, but 1960s London is not what it seems, and time seems to fall apart with shady consequences. It stars Anya Taylor-Joy, who's best known for The Witch. She's, I think, the main girl. Yeah. The movie was inspired by the movie Don't Look Now with Donald Sutherland and Julie Christie.
Oh.
That's the I actually watched that a couple years ago as one of my Halloween movies. It's from 1973. It's about a married couple grieving the recent death of their young daughter. They're in Venice when they encounter two elderly sisters, one of whom is psychic and brings a warning from beyond. The other movie that inspired this movie is Repulsion from Roman Polanski, which is from 1965. A sex-repulsed woman who disapproves of her sister's boyfriend sinks into depression and has horrific visions of rape and violence.
It's a good movie, actually.
It is actually a really good movie. So, yeah, I'm excited to see this one because, honestly, anything made by that director, I think, is fucking gold.
He also did Scott Pilgrim versus the World and Baby Driver. Did you ever see Baby Driver?
I did not.
That was good.
I need to see that.
I've heard it's really good. I love Edgar Wright because of the show Spaced that was done in the early 2000s, and he has been all over Instagram celebrating the 20th anniversary or 25th or something. and that was like his first Simon Pegg, Nick Frost, like all those guys made that show, and it's total pop culture winks, and it's great. But yeah, I didn't know Edgar Wright was working on a new movie, so yay.
I'll have to check out that show.
A little diversion about Spaced there, good show, but Edgar Wright's amazing in general, and so yes, please go see his new movie when it comes out this year. I will be seeing it, as will Sharon and Spencer, I think.
Don't tell me what to do.
I was going to say, I think I can fairly say that you'll do it, but
absolutely.
In this case, I am going to tell you what to do.
Is it my turn again?
That was your movie. I just kind of hijacked you.
Oh, shit.
But you can like throw it to me. Here, so give me a...
Minnie, catch.
Hey, got it. There's someone inside your house.
Ah!
That's the name of the movie I'm going to talk about next.
Oh, I thought there was someone actually inside my house.
The release date on this it's listed as TBD right now. Supposed to be this year. As of this recording, it's still in post-production as well, and it's also another Netflix jam. So it looks like it's Netflix co-producing with another company. And Netflix is describing this movie as the graduating class at Osborne High is being targeted by a masked assailant intent on exposing the darkest secrets of each victim, and only a group of misfit outsiders can stop the killings before their own secrets are revealed to the world. This is based on a book by author Stephanie Perkins, who also co-wrote the film. And the book came out in 2017. This movie is going to be is being directed by Patrick Brice, who directed both of the Creep films with Mark Duplass. He actually appeared on screen in the first Creep movie as Mark Duplass's videographer / victim. And surprise, surprise, James Wan is one of the producers on this.
Can somebody please just start a Kickstarter to donate money to him so he doesn't have to work so much just to scrape by?
Well, to be fair, he's mostly just producing these days, so he's not so much working to scrape by as much as sitting back and raking it in, which is totally not true because producers do a lot of work. But if anyone wants to start a Kickstarter for our podcast and then tell James Wan so he can donate some of that sweet Conjuring cash, I wouldn't object.
Yes, please.
Anyway, so about this movie, there's someone inside your house. I think this could go either way. I've actually read the book, and it was okay. No, it was good. A page turner for sure. Kind of reminded me of the first Scream movie, but with less humor and self-awareness, and had a slightly more young adult novel feel. The kills, though, the setup alone will kill you, no pun intended. The kills were super creepy, suspenseful, and fairly original for today's horror, I thought. Sharon and I are both fans of the TV version of Scream that was on Netflix, and I feel
it was on it was on MTV.
Oh, I didn't know that. I only watched it on Netflix.
I think it was an MTV show, and then it went over to Netflix, which is how I watched it. So,
well, I kind of feel like based on the book, this movie might fall into a similar category like that, maybe with a few rougher edges and slightly more mature, or not. Only time will tell, but if they pull off the kills, those will be some scares worth watching for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll check it out.
Interesting.
Yeah, Scream was an MTV show.
Okay, that's what I thought. Yeah, and they only did 2 seasons, right?
Well, there was the Halloween special, and
3.
I think there's a new one, but we didn't want to watch it because the one girl's not in it.
Yeah, there is a third season. I heard
Audrey,
the third
right?
seas's actually pretty bad. Yeah, I really liked the first. Surprisingly, I liked the first 2.
I did too, and this book, like it kind of reminded me, like if they're making it for Netflix, like I was like, I could see this being like that show where it's like teenage stuff, but then like some good scary stuff too. So I'm kind of excited to see what they do with it.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I know we're both excited for the next movie, which is Halloween Kills, expected to be released this October 16th to be exact. Once again, it stars Jamie Lee Curtis reprising her role as Laurie Strode. Oh my God. Let me try that again. Once again, it stars Jamie Lee Curtis reprising her role.
It rolls off the tongue, doesn't it?
Mindy's right. We are having trouble talking today. Her role as Laurie Strode for the 6th time, and also Judy Greer will be back reprising her role as Laurie Strode's daughter, and Andy Matichak, as her granddaughter. Sorry, I'm not sure if I pronounced that right, but she plays the granddaughter. Anthony Michael Hall is actually going to be playing Tommy Doyle.
I'm sorry?
Yes, you heard me right. Anthony Michael Hall, the nerd from...
I love Anthony Michael Hall. I still do.
Too. Yeah, the
nerd from everything in the 80s.
The nerd
basically.
from every movie in the 80s ever made. So he's going to be playing Tommy Doyle. Quick fact or little trivia. Paul Rudd was actually offered to reprise his role as Tommy Doyle, but he had to decline due to scheduling conflicts because he's going to be in the new Ghostbusters this year, which I guess that movie is not on our list because it's probably more of a comedy than a horror movie. But he played Tommy in Halloween, The Curse of Michael Myers from 1995, which is supposed to be the worst of all the Halloween movies.
I don't even know if I saw that one, and I don't want to get on a Ghostbusters tangent.
Well, yeah, we're not going to talk about Ghostbusters right now, but I think it would have been really cool if Paul Rudd was in this movie.
Yeah.
But whatever. We've got Anthony Michael Hall. And also Kyle Richards is going to be playing Lindsay Wallace, and she played the original Lindsay in the very first Halloween movie.
Woo-woo.
Nick Castle is going to return for both sequels.
Sweet.
Halloween Kills and then Halloween Ends. That's the name of the third one, right?
I think so.
Spencer, look it up. Correct me if I'm wrong. So yeah, he's going to be playing The Shape, aka Michael Myers, with James Jude Courtney again playing Myers for the majority of the film. Nick Castle also played Michael Myers for most of the original Halloween as well, although there was a couple other people that kind of subbed in for him when he wasn't able to film. Not too much is known about the sequel, which is fine with me.
Yeah, right.
Honestly, the less I know about this, the better. I kind of want to just go in cold and, make my own judgments about it. But we do know that it serves of one of two sequels. Yeah, with Halloween Ends coming in 2021. So you don't have to look that up because I actually wrote it.
But I did look it up.
Aww.
Is her name Kylie Richards? You said...
I said Kyle.
It's spelled Kyle, but I have a feeling it's probably pronounced Kylie.
Well, you know what? Maybe...
I'm all about the name pronunciations. I don't want people to get mad when their names are mispronounced.
I have to say that I do have a colleague at work whose name is Kyle, and she's a woman.
Oh, well, there you go.
It could very well be Kyle.
Do you have a coworker named Arnie who spells it A-R-N-E?
No, but I have one named Arn. No, I'm kidding. I don't.
That would be weird.
All right. So
am I next?
It's back on you, Mindy.
All right. So The Collected is supposedly coming out in 2020. Date TBD right now. It's a follow-up to 2012's The Collection, which I haven't actually seen this whole franchise.
No. It's the follow-up of, there's The Collector.
Well, but the last one was The Collection, I think.
But you should probably mention both of them.
Yeah. Because it's a trilogy, so it's going in order. Don't roll your eyes at me.
All right, so I'll start over, I guess.
Yeah, and I'll find a good place to...
No, you don't need to start over. Also, let me just throw in here, I have been on Mindy's case to watch...
Well, we're going to get to that in a second.
The Collector for years, so I cannot wait to hear what she has to say
We're going to get to that shit in a second. But, okay, fine. There's The Collector, right? And then the Collection? And then now this is The Collected, which is going to be the final of the trilogy, I guess.
Or is it?
Of course.
Well, what other words start with collect?
Because that's what he...
Collectioned.
There you go.
That's what the box set will be. Eventually. But
the most collected.
It's directed and written by the guys who did The Collector and the sequel, The Collection. Josh Stewart from the first two movies is back as Arkin, right? Yeah. And Emma Fitzpatrick will be reprising her role from the previous installment, The Collection. If you haven't seen the first two movies, it's basically about a twisted serial killer who kills his victims with a series of brutal and deadly, but also to be fair, very creative booby traps. The killer always takes one victim alive to add to his collection. And yeah, Sharon's been on me to watch this for years and was like, Spencer even really liked it. But she knows damn well that I don't like torture movies or home invasion movies. And that's what this movie is. And I was like, yeah, fuck this movie. But I have to say, the booby traps and the kills were very creative, how if not somewhat unrealistic, because I was like, yeah, there's no way that he'd be able to make all this happen. But I will say that, like, it was kind of like Home Alone, but like on mega steroids, because like,
or meth
or something, because like it was like
acid.
Yeah, I agree that like the kills and the setups and everything were incredibly intricate and insane. But these movies are not really like my jam, so I'm not a huge.
But it has your girl Madeline Zima in it.
And who was sexy again as usual. And I mean, we all know everyone. It's not a spoiler when I say we all know everyone's going to die at the end of the movie, and so.
No, not everyone.
Well, right, that's true. Not everyone, because they have to have someone for the collection.
Mm-hmm.
But I watched it. There you go. I probably won't see this movie, although who knows? I probably will end up doing it.
Well, thank you for watching it, and you should watch the second one though, because it's not a home invasion movie.
I was gonna do it.
It's just a torture movie.
Your second favorite jam.
Yeah. Well, and there are torture movies that I like. But it kind of depends on the circumstance. So.
Well, in the second one,
I would have had to rent the second one. The first one was streaming on Prime, and I was not in the mood to rent it.
Oh, I thought they were both on Shudder.
She's cheap.
Shut up. And I am. But, well, because it's like a movie that I'm not dying to see, so I'm not going to pay like $3 or $4 to...
Check Shudder, Spencer. I thought they were both on Shudder. I know that at least the first one's on Shudder, but you can watch it for free on Shudder if it's on there. But the second one...
That's how I either watched it on Amazon or Shudder, the first one, yeah.
Oh.
But then I couldn't...
I thought you just said you watched it free on Prime. You literally just said that.
Oh, yeah, it was. It was on Prime because I put it in my queue. That's right. Well, I'm trying to remember. We have too many streaming services. The fact that we're even having this conversation is ridiculous.
That is true.
I see The Collector on Shudder.
Okay, so
I don't think the other one is.
I guess the second one isn't. But the second one...
But I was curious because, I guess we don't want to give spoilers or if anybody cares. But I was kind of curious to see, like, what ends. I mean, I have an idea of what's going to happen.
Well, the second one, he goes and follows the guy.
Yeah.
And I think they're like in a big warehouse. So he's going through this huge warehouse. So from what I remember, I think the traps and everything are even bigger and more elaborate. And but he also, I think, saves a few people.
Yeah, that movie goes way off kind of in another, like, it takes it to a whole other level.
I mean, honestly, it's been a few years. I was going to try and rewatch it this week, but didn't have time. And I'm going to catch up on those movies soon, though, because what is the release date of this one?
TBD right now. Because
oh, yeah, that's right.
Shit. Still,
you got all the TBD, TBA movies right now.
I kind of do. But, like, it's just, I thought, and you know this, too, like, I have a problem when, like, there's no character that I can really kind of empathize with. And there was just a lot happening in The Collector, like, aside from the main plot of the psycho guy. So I was kind of like, I'm not going to go into it. But anyway, the sequel's coming out hopefully this year of the third movie from the trilogy. If you're into it.
I'm into it.
Get ready.
It's on Starz and DirecTV, and on Amazon there's also like a Starz like channel that you can sign up for. You could probably do like a week trial for that.
I have DirecTV, but then yeah, I might watch it. We'll see.
We'll watch it before the third one comes out. So then we can watch the third one together.
Oh, yeah. Oh, okay. Well, okay. If we can watch it with alcohol.
We'll figure that out.
Yes.
There are ways.
Okay. All right, Sharon, what's next on your list?
Okay. So, yeah, I think, honestly, all the rest of these movies on our list none of them really have release dates as of yet. So the next movie I have is We Summon the Darkness, release date, TBA. This is a horror comedy that was announced to be released on December 13th of last year, 2019, but that appears to have been an error. There's not even a trailer yet. It's directed by Mark Myers, who directed My Friend Dahmer. It stars Alexandria Daddario, who's made a bunch of other movies that I have not seen, like the Baywatch movie. And
You've
also,
not seen that?
I've not seen that. It's on the list, but just have not gotten around to it yet. Weird. So she's also in the Percy Jackson movies, which I have not seen. Those are like more kids movies, right, Spencer?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
I haven't seen them either.
Yeah. Johnny Knoxville is in it as well. It's about 3 naive best friends that embark on a road trip to a heavy metal music festival. They bond with 3 seemingly fun-loving dudes, and soon the group heads off to Alexis's country home.
Oh, surprise.
A very secluded place for an after party, because that's smart, going to a very secluded place with a bunch of people that you just met.
Yep.
So what should be a fun night of youthful debauchery may instead take a dark, deadly turn. With killers on the loose, can anyone be trusted? So yeah, that's all I really know about this movie. So we'll see.
Alrighty.
Back to you.
Okay, so I've got a movie called Synchronic. I believe that's how you say it. It was released in the U.S. at Fantastic Fest on September 22nd, 2019, but no listed dates for a wide release for 2020 as of yet. It stars Jamie Dornan, who is in those 50 Shades of Grey movies, but fuck that, watch him in the TV series The Fall. He's awesome.
Yes.
And Anthony Mackie, Falcon from The Avengers, which I don't watch those movies, but thanks for the tip, Sharon. But he's also been in like a million other movies and shows before, and also was in one of my new favorite Christmas gems, The Night Before, with Seth Rogen, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, and a shit ton of awesome people. So woo! The synopsis from IMDb says, 2 New Orleans paramedics' lives are ripped apart after encountering a series of horrific deaths linked to a designer drug with bizarre otherworldly effects. So a bunch of people be tripping in New Orleans, I guess.
What else is
but
new?
I mean, if I'm not gonna lie, they kind of had me at Jamie Dornan and Anthony Mackie. I'll probably wait for streaming, but I'm sure I'll watch this at some point. Absolutely. Hopefully it'll come out wide release in 2020, but no word as of yet.
All right.
So keep an eye out for it. Sharon?
My next movie is I'm Thinking of Ending Things, also release date unknown at this point. It's currently in post-production. It looks like it will be a direct to Netflix release, though. It is based on the book by, I'm going to say Ian.
I'm going to agree with you.
Okay, because it's not spelled like Ian's normally spelled. It's Ian.
Okay.
Ian Reed, and directed and written for the screen by Charlie Kaufman from the writer I'm just gonna shut up and say
You all know who Charlie Kaufman is.
And if you don't, just Google him because you should know.
He wrote Being John Malkovich and Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind,
among many other awesome things.
Jesse Plemons, who we talked about earlier, he's also in this, and so is Toni Collette, who is amazing. According to Wikipedia, the book has been described as a psychological thriller and horror fiction, and is about I accidentally just like licked the microphone twice. Ugh.
Don't do that.
Ugh. Gross.
That's the one I sneeze on.
Oh, good. It's the one that
up your butt.
She's making this face.
smells like farts. Anyways. So the book has been described as a psychological thriller and horror fiction, and is about an unnamed young woman who lets her boyfriend take her to see his parents on a remote farm.
God damn it.
Come on, people. We need to come up with some creative ideas. I want to see a horror movie that takes place in like
downtown Chicago.
Downtown Chicago on like the 35th floor of a high-rise building during rush hour traffic, whatever.
Rush hour traffic on the 35th floor.
Rush hour is brutal in Chicago. Okay.
It's so bad it goes 35
so
stories high.
bad.
Those
it
of
goes
you
into the buildings.
Those of you from Chicago know this, but any of you who have never been to Chicago, that's what happens. You said it.
I know I did. Because I'm an idiot. Anyway.
But this one's on a remote farm.
It's on a remote farm and the disturbing aftermath that follows.
Mm-hmm.
The novel was selected by NPR as one of the best books of 2016 and
for
was
real?
a finalist in the 2016 Shirley Jackson Award contest.
They do have it exists.
I know, but like the way they worded it, and I just like copied and pasted this bit of trivia. They just called it a finalist in the 2016 Shirley Jackson Award.
It should have said finalist for the blah, blah, blah.
It should have said there should have been a word there.
What the fuck, NPR?
What the fuck? So anyways, the movie, which is also categorized as a psychological horror, sounds very much like the book. The story centers on a woman and a relationship that's already ended in her mind, but she's nonetheless following her boyfriend through the dead of wintry night to meet his parents at their farmhouse.
That's all I have to say about that.
So, yeah, Mindy, looks like you might have another book to put on your must-read list.
I have one I ordered on the way here, which I'll talk about in a little bit.
Oh.
But
I know you love Shirley Jackson.
I do. And again,
this one was a finalist in the 2016 Shirley Jackson Award.
According to NPR's grammar bot. Sorry, NPR, we love you. Well, this has just been a mad discussion, much like my next movie's title, The Color of Madness. I am not good at segues. Woof. Ouch. Anyway, yes. The next movie I'm talking about is called The Color of Madness. Its date for release is TBD. The official production site says the current status of the film is that it's in post-production, as a lot of the movies we've been reading about are, apparently. It is described as a Lovecraftian horror set on a remote Norwegian island. That is a mouthful.
Say that 10 times fast.
I know. Shit. The official synopsis is, after the death of his mother, Isaac and his pregnant wife, Emma, return to the remote Norwegian island of his birth.
Remote Norwegian Island.
To deal with an unexpected inheritance, they find themselves caught in a nightmare as an ancient cosmic horror awakens to claim a birthright of its own. Interesting. Starring Barbara Crampton, who's appeared in a number of Lovecraft adaptations like Reanimator from 1985, From Beyond from 86, and apparently the soon-to-be remade Castle Freak. The original was in 1995. This is not an adaptation of a specific Lovecraft story, but based on elements from a number of his works. Norwegian horror films tend to be beautifully shot, if nothing else, and the few images available for this film show this one to be no exception. So I'll keep my eyes out for this, if only for the lovely yet horrifying, I'm sure, visuals. According to co-director Andy Collier, he says, "We are using 100% practical effects with some disgusting looking robotic tentacles for a few body horror shocks, together with a very dark, creepy story." So that sounds interesting. I hope that they finish up with post and release it in 2020, because I'll see it.
Cool.
Sharon?
All right. Here is my final movie.
Okay.
Terrifier 2, release date TBA. Currently still filming, so it's not even in post. It's expected to be released this year, but we'll see. So basically, the only thing really known about it is after being resurrected by a sinister entity, Art the Clown returns to Miles County, where he must hunt down and destroy a teenage girl and her younger brother on Halloween night. Damien Leone is back as the writer and director. He did the first movie and also the short film, which I've seen the movie, but I've not seen the short. Felissa Rose, best known as Angela from Sleepaway Camp, stars in this. And honestly, that's really all I've got for this movie. It's kind of a hush-hush.
And the Terrifier, that's the, like, clown guy
Yeah.
Right. So there was another movie that I found, I think on Shudder, that was like not a sequel but it kind of was, where it was like this family on Halloween and they found this tape, like as they were trick-or-treating, like somebody gave out a tape instead of candy, and like an actual like VHS tape, and they put it in, and it's like a bunch of shorts with the Terrifier clown guy, but I don't remember the name of it.
I think we talked about in one of the episodes recently.
We might have.
Because I think, there was that one, and then the official Terrifier came out.
Because I didn't know they were related, and then I started watching the one with the tape, and I was like, wait, isn't that the Terrifier clown? It was bizarre.
Yeah, I liked the first one enough. I'm not like a huge fan of it. There was a lot of things I liked about it, and there was a lot of things I disliked about it. I think I mentioned this in a previous episode, but when Spencer and I went to Days of the Dead Fest a couple of years ago, there was like this 4-year-old girl.
Oh, yeah, you did.
Whose parents let her watch Terrifier, and she was like obsessed with the clown, and she was like going up to people who were dressed up as Art the Clown and like cosplay and like taking photos with him, and I was like, who lets their 4-year-old watch this movie?
Okay. I thought you meant that they, for some reason, when you told that story before, I thought you meant like that they like maybe showed her a picture and like just dressed her up. I didn't realize, I missed the part about they actually let her watch it.
Oh, no, she wasn't dressed up. But no, they watched it with her. They're like, oh my God, she loves this movie. Like that's like fucking Thomas the Tank Engine or whatever. I don't even know what kids watch nowadays because I don't have any. Yeah, but she was like obsessed. And every time she saw someone walk by like dressed as the clown from Terrifier, she would like go up to him and be like, can I have a picture with you?
She's going to grow up to be awesome.
She is. She's going to grow up and she's going to take over our podcast.
Yeah. So, there was Terrifier, a short from 2011, which you mentioned. And then there was All Hallows Eve.
Yes.
Was that the one with like the VHS thing?
Yes.
So that was from 2013. And then in 2016 was the actual Terrifier movie, the first official one. And then this one's coming out in 2020.
Okay.
Terrifier 2.
Mystery solved.
Thank you, Spencer.
You're welcome.
All right. So Mindy surprised me or she's going to surprise me with one last movie that she found on her own.
Actually, I think she's got 2.
Yeah.
You got 2 more.
One more that was on the list, and then I found out about something else.
Okay. Well, wrap it up.
Well, this one, this was going to be our final movie to talk about. I'm going to try and say this right. Verotika?
Yep.
All right. Spencer was like, it's like erotica, but with a V. Verotika.
And also K.
Yeah. Whatever. Shush. Just kidding. We love you, Spencer. IMDb lists the release date of this as June 13th, 2019 at Cinepocalypse. I'm looking for info on a U.S. Netflix release. No idea yet what that is. But this is a movie directed by Glenn Danzig. He directs and also wrote the screenplay. The IMDb synopsis literally cracked me up. It says, Glenn Danzig's directorial debut is a horror anthology that compiles stories from Danzig's line of comic books of the same name. Stories which focus on horror content that's often sexual and violent in nature, usually featuring scantily clad female protagonists. So that sounds about right. Personally, I've never been a huge Danzig fan, but I'm a sucker for anthologies, and I'm guessing I'll probably wait for streaming on this one. It's been referred to as the next great So Bad It's Good horror movie after festival screenings. Patrick Bromley from BloodyDisgusting.com called it the horror equivalent of The Room, in his view.
Wow.
So I don't know how I feel about that, and I don't know if that's what, like, do we think that Glenn Danzig considers this to be the next So Bad It's Good movie? Or, like, is he a serious guy? I kind of thought he seemed kind of intense, but like maybe that was just a stage presence. So like I'm not sure if he like would take that as a compliment, but
yeah, I don't know.
That's kind of weird, I thought, but curious.
I do like Danzig's music and I like the Misfits, but not a big fan of Glenn Danzig himself, and also I don't really keep up to date on him, but I've heard some not too good things about some of his political views and social views. And so, yeah, I'm not really looking forward to this, but you know what? It might be fun to kind of like watch it as like a mystery science theater watch and just make fun of it the entire time.
Yeah, I have a feeling that's probably going to be what it's like. The budget is a relatively low $1 million. I mean, most movies are made for significantly more than that, so that's pretty low. I saw a few photos. It seemed like it looked a little funny, and I just saw that they released, just a few days ago, they released a trailer for it. Or a new trailer.
Too bad we don't watch trailers.
Right?
Yeah.
Yep. Well, I might for this, since I'm only going to see this if we mystery science theater it. But
yeah.
I just like that IMDb was like, it's based on his comics, which usually feature scantily clad women and violence against, sounds about right.
Probably violence against women too.
So I have one last movie I want to discuss somewhat briefly that I just found out this week about. It's being released at Sundance on January 25th of this year, 2020, and it is called Shirley. The synopsis from IMDb says, a famous horror writer finds inspiration for her next book after she and her husband take in a young couple, and they keep it simple. Okay. It's starring Elizabeth Moss as Shirley. I don't know how to say his name, but I love this actor. Michael Sturlberg. He was in Boardwalk Empire and The Shape of Water and a bunch of other stuff, but he plays her husband, Stanley Hyman. It is directed by Josephine Decker, who is an up-and-coming female director, based on a book that I just ordered by Susan Scarf Merrill, and a screenplay written by my friend, Sarah Gubbins. Sarah Gubbins is a Chicago playwright, artist who has moved to LA a few years ago. I haven't seen her or talked to her in a very long time, but if that show I Love Dick on Amazon, she is one of the writers behind that. She has made a career for herself in Hollywood and is killing it. And I messaged her last night. I don't know if I will hear back, but I was like, I would love to hear everything about this. I do have an article that I found that gives a little bit more info on it. But it's a psychological drama. And Odessa Young, from Assassination Nation, I don't know who that is, and Logan Lerman from Indignation, they play the young couple that move in with Shirley and Stanley and find themselves fodder for a psychodrama that inspires Shirley's next novel.
So is this in any way related to Shirley Jackson?
It is absolutely about Shirley Jackson.
Oh, I wish I found this and surprised you, because this is like totally up your alley. Although I wouldn't have realized that the person who did the screenplay was someone that you actually fucking knew. Well,
so I don't even remember where I saw this, but I think I was looking up something else on IMDb, and I saw this thing about Shirley, and it looked like the picture, if you look it up, is like the promo pic is Shirley and Stanley in bed, and like I just was like, oh, interesting, that's Elizabeth Moss. Oh, this is about Shirley, because I knew Stanley Hyman, so I knew that, I'm like, oh, this is about Shirley Jackson. It's fictionalized, highly fictionalized, obviously, based on the book. But then I'm like scrolling through, and then it's like screenplay by Sarah Gubbins, and I was like, holy shit.
Maybe we can interview her for the show.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I did message her. Like I said, I haven't talked to her or seen her in a number of years because she moved to LA some years ago, but she's a cool lady, and she's a fantastic writer. So if you ever see anything with her name on it, watch it, because she's great.
Awesome.
And I ordered the book already, so I'm going to read the book and then be ready for it. I don't know when or if it'll be released, widely in the U.S., but it's premiering at Sundance. And Josephine Decker's on the list of up-and-coming female directors, which I thought was really cool too. So it sounds rad. And I believe Elizabeth Moss is a producer along with Sarah. So.
Wow.
But yeah, I had no idea. I messaged Sarah and I was like, have you been a Shirley Jackson fan this whole time and I never knew? Who knows? But still, I'm very excited about it and very proud that someone from Chicago is involved and killing it in Hollywood. And we're getting some female voices out there. And yeah, so.
The novel, if any of you are curious, is by Susan Scarf Merrill.
Mm-hmm.
And to be clear, this is not a horror movie. It is
right.
a drama thriller, but it is about a horror writer. So this is
Yeah.
a very cool honorable mention.
And it's but the thriller aspect. I mean, if it's Shirley Jackson, it's got to be
Totally
even related about her. It's got to be kind of weird. So it's I want to see it yesterday.
Well, at the time of when this airs, it will actually have premiered at Sundance 2 days ago.
What? You just blew my mind. Time travel, everybody.
All
Anyway,
right.
so yeah. So if I hear from Sarah, I will let you guys know. But I told her, I was like, I would love to hear everything about how this came about because I'm a super fangirl for Shirley Jackson. So, and Sarah's writing. So, win-win.
All right. Well, that is going to do it with our 2020 movie wrap up. And so we're looking forward to watching maybe half of these movies.
Maybe a little less than half, but some of them were actually, though, quite a few because some of them we're going to watch for fun, I'm sure.
Yeah, no, that's true. We'll probably like a lot more than we think we will. And when we watch them, we will make sure to post about it on the social medias and
maybe even do an episode about one of them if they really blow our dicks off.
But for sure, we'll be talking about these on our 2020 movie wrap up at the end of the year. Either way, we'll be discussing these again at some point, I'm sure.
Ooh, or if anybody sees any of these and has a particular opinion, feel free to write us or contact us and be like, hey, these are my thoughts, or you should talk about this, or like we would love to even talk about
or
what
tag
you guys
us.
think.
If you post about it, tag us in your posts.
Yeah.
And also, once again, we just want to thank everyone who listens to us and supports us. And please go on whatever platform you listen to us on and take the time to rate and review us. We would really, really appreciate that. Also, keep sending in your stories. We want to do some upcoming episodes featuring your ghost stories, scary stories, or whatever else you would like to share with us. And Mindy, do you have anything else you want to add before we sign off?
I think that's about it. Thanks again, as Sharon said, for listening. And yeah, what Sharon said. We love you guys.
What she said.
All right.
That's what she said.
Well, as always, thanks for getting creepy with us. Sharon, do you want a beer?
Oh my God.